Good evening, folks. Hopefully you can see me now. Apparently I wasn't even live on YouTube. I've done this before where sometimes you are live and sometimes it decides, no, I don't want to show you. So I have no idea. Hopefully we can find us. That explains why no one was watching. So we've just seen qualifying in the damp conditions nonetheless here at the Temple of Speed in Monza. PT, you're a gentleman. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. So let's just do the... Well, I'll have to redo my intro, I suppose, won't I? Here we are, round 3. MRS of Season 9. And, yeah, it was a damp qualifying session. Everyone had to use the inters, but some people got out very early. They got a set on the soft tyres. Unless you're Jack, who's on stream at the moment, then... he actually set the lap in second on a 20.5 on the medium compound tyres. The man who was a big loser, unfortunately, was FX Chef, Nigella Lawson. Here, he unfortunately validated his lap times and was really at a disadvantage. Then the rain came down and he wasn't able to, of course, better his time, especially when the DRS went off. But it is going to be an Aston Martin all front row. Grimo takes pole with Liquid Gas in second. PT, thank you very much for sharing the link as well. He's going to be starting up on the second row alongside Thomas, Mike Taylor and Monster on the third row. Then SRL, Trem, then Vexman, The Witcher's Spell. Then we've got Blood Diamond and FX Shift on the final row, which is row 5. Yeah, that was a weird one, folks. Sorry about that. I'd literally been talking to myself for 15 minutes, so that works well. But here we go. We've just seen qualifying, or the, well, last few seconds at least of qualifying. Please do join me in the YouTube chat. Please do hit the like button, of course, as always. But there we go. Look at those times there, folks. The guys managed to get out early and do the laps on the soft tyres, unless you're Jack, who's just a little bit earlier, and as he's going to do that time on a medium, which was very scary if he managed to do the softs. FX Chef, unfortunately, only got his lap time on the intermediate tyres later on that session, and the time definitely reflects that as well. This is going to be an interesting one. We've seen a few people during qualifying using 2 sets at least of the intermediate tyres. And now that's going to be interesting if we're going to see wet weather at any point during this race. You can find yourself at a disadvantage. Oh, there it is. Called it. Commentator's curse. And I'm only new to MRS as well. Wow, we have got those damp conditions. So who is going to be geared up for the wet conditions? Jack looked quite strong in them in the laps that he did. And so did a number of the drivers, funny enough, as in that session. But is it going to be a trade-off? Is it going to dry up later on? If you're with me and you're in Liquid Gas, good evening. Aloha. Okay, he's just tried to do the temperature cycle, did Jack? Interesting. If you've got the weather forecast, my friend, that would be great to tell the viewers what the weather's going to do during the course of this race. But yeah, this is going to be the trade-off. This is going to be difficult now because surely this is wet enough for no DRS to happen on lap 2, where DRS round the Temple of Speed is so important. And those who've used the extra set of intermediates, well, that could really hamper them during the course of the race, because anything can happen. Any sort of safety car, any virtual safety cars that come about, where you think, okay, I'm in a position, I want to pit, I want to get the fresh set on, you're going to have that set less. You're going to have that one set, whether it's only a lap or 2. Well, we'll see. Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much, Gregory. Thank you, Jack. Wet all race. Wow. Take that in for a minute, folks, because a wet Monza is not necessarily a fun Monza. Grimo, we saw, he'd already snatched the pole time. He lost it through the Ascari chicane, and we saw a few drivers drifting through the Lesmos and the Parabolica as well. So this is going to be a very interesting race. Who has got the wetter setup? Who, as well, is a bit more daring? Who's going to have that overall straight line speed and try to hang on, especially with the throttle, during that middle sector where you've got the Lesmos, the Ascari chicane, even the throttle application on the exit of Parabolica, where traction is so important. Of course, the highest average speed on the Formula One calendar around here. So the DRS usually is very, very important. Low wings are usually used here. A little bit higher, I suspect, for majority of the drivers this evening with these wet all-race conditions. Or, as Gregory's put it in Lando's words, it's going to be wet. So we're going to have a number of laps around here. If this is all about keeping cool, this is about picking the breaking point that's going to be very, very vital for every single person here. Easy to lock up, the car can just aquaplane. In these conditions, the car just doesn't necessarily want to stop. So this is going to be crucial. The ERS deployment, that is also going to be crucial, especially when it comes down to the fact that there is probably going to be zero DRS this race as well. So a battle of strategy, a battle of temperament. It's going to be an intriguing race, to say the least. We should be going very, very shortly. We've got the same bunch of people in the paddock club there. Is everybody going to be on the inters? Of course they are. There we are, folks. Everyone on the intermediate tyres. Oops, there's a few people really struggling. I think that's Thomas. It was Thomas really, really struggling to get the power down, and it just went sideways straight into the wall. Luckily, no damage is on during the formation lap. He's not going to be wanting to do that. I mean, he'll definitely have some heat in the rear tyres, that's for certain throughout that. Wow. But, yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. Absolutely. Again, if you're there, please do hit the like button. Join us if you can. That'll be fantastic. Monster and Trem have had a bit of a coming together. They're going to find themselves back on the grid. I don't know if that was Trem hitting the back of Monster. Probably was. Monster reacting to the cars in front. Not ideal for both of them. Their tyres are going to be stony cold and offering no grip. It doesn't seem to be raining as hard as it was in qualifying. Let's go on board with Vexman. It is raining lightly, but not that bad in compared to what we've just had. So perfect intermediates for this one. There's the strategy at the bottom. If you have the tyres and if you choose to use the two-stop, you can, but the one-stop, inters to inters, is the way forward. If it's approximate weather, and I'm not 100% sure if we use that in MOS, I'll be perfectly honest. If we do, then, well, we could see dry. It doesn't look that cloudy, doesn't look that overcast, so there may be potential for some drying conditions later on in this evening. There's the stricken Ferrari and McLaren on the grid. A beautiful McLaren livery has also been revealed this week. I don't know if you've seen it, folks. If you have, you need to see it, because it's a gorgeous thing. Full chrome, well, part chrome, and it just looks stunning. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out, because I implore you to have a look at the gorgeous livery. But before that, we have got 27 laps around the temple of speed, and with 5 red lights in 3, 2, 1, we go racing. It's just a gasp for trying to get any kind of traction. Grimwald got really, really bogged down, far too much wheel spin, liquid gas. Thomas got the absolute lightning start. He's now gone from 4th into Grimwald's pushing the Ferrari into the first corner. There's a bit of argy-bargy. The Mike Taylor's has gone around the outside as well. What a start from him. He's up 2 already. Thomas was the lightning fast getaway. Liquid gas was just sort of sandwiched in the middle a little bit. Thomas got an absolute stunning launch, and it's gone round the inside into turn 1, and now he is up into the lead with liquid gas in second. Mike Taylor, great start from him. Vexman and Blood Diamond, good starts. Monster, similar start to Grimmer. I suspect far too much wheel spin, far too heavy footed on the throttle. Managed to keep it in a straight line, but they are now losing positions 4 and 3 respectively on the start of this race. Oh, and I think that was Trem near the back, really, really shaky. He's going to be under pressure, I think, from Monster as they go down into the Ascari chicane. Everyone just sort of tiptoeing through Ascari at this moment in time. PT more than Grimo. Grimo's really got the grip between his teeth, going to try to make amends for that start from the pole man. Now down, he's actually lost out because of Vexman. Vexman got the better runs of Grimo, though. Pulls it down to 6 in these early stages, but it is a long race. 27 laps. Doesn't seem long, but at the same time, anything can happen. Thomas, our leader at this moment in time. All the field tightly packed together. Trem's the one that's lost a bit of ground with Monster tucked up behind him. You can see the McLarens further back with the Ferrari under the rear wing of Trem. Is Monster going to have a look into turn 1? He decides against it, not quite close enough, wisely. Picks his braking point, but looks like he got a bit of a better exit. Trem was a bit squirrely, went a little bit over the extra curve. Vexman really on a charge, side by side to Curb Grande with Petey in the lead Ferrari. What can they do? Grimo's still trying to charge up. He's now trying to go on the outside into turn 4. Can't quite make it done. Blood Diamond just being patient. Didn't want to stick a nose in, knowing that gap was going to close. But all the while these guys are battling. Mike's sort of getting away, but the top two, well, we've seen this before, folks. Already this season, Thomas and Liquid Gas, top two streaking away between themselves. Yeah, now 1.5 ahead of Mike, who's also got a 1.5 second gap to PT, who was kept very honest with Vexman, Grimo, Blood Diamond, and Trem, who's caught back up to the train now after everybody was squabbling. Monster slightly dropped off the back, but just taking his time. Nigella at the back there, just intense, just dropping off the back at this moment. We've seen the race strategy before, but if you miss it, let's have another look. The one stop, they're saying, is the quickest way round. Mike really seems to be struggling a little bit just for the overall pace in that Red Bull. It's not equal performance in this league. Vexman has got the drive. Vexman gets the move done very, very early on the Ferrari. So that Mercedes working very well. I say it's not equal performance, but, and I also said, it's very key of who's gone a bit bold, who's gone brave with the rear wing to get that top speed, knowing there's no DRS at this moment in time unless it dries up. We'll have to see. Look at this, still they're battling side by side. PT goes a little bit defensive. Oh, Vexman goes very, very squirrely. The rear locks on the entry to turn 4, but it's so tight. It's definitely single file through there, and Grimo was getting a bit of attention there from Blood Diamond in the background, but everyone still, Blood Diamond. Saw him do that in qualifying. Oh, the Ferrari as well. Everybody's snaking around on the power, even under brakes. But they're losing massive time to Mike Taylor. A second and a half they've lost in a lap. Mike Taylor's lost a second to the lead too. But I tell you what, Liquid Gas is a lot closer this time round to Thomas. Thomas seems to have just pulled away a little bit. I don't know if he's using any battery, but he seems to be a little bit bolder, a little bit quicker in a straight line within his rear wing choice. But I say these two are going to be very, very closely matched. Of course, with the performance change as well. But let's have a look. Liquid Gas is trying. He's on the outside. He was going to be the latest of the late breakers. Thomas gives him a little bit of a squeeze. Just about a car's width. Literally an Aston Martin car width there. But Thomas just keeps ahead in these conditions. If that was dry, would you say Jack would keep his foot in a little bit? I think he probably would. But these are so treacherous conditions, so difficult. You've just got to really play the long game, be even more patient. You don't know if the car ahead's going to understeer, oversteer, lock a brake and keep on sliding forwards. But look at this, Grimo and PT side by side. PT, I think got a bit bouncy over the curbs. Has that allowed Grimo through? I'm not sure if that was potentially bounced over the curb too. PT, very, very slidey. Grimo being patient. Blood Diamond as well in the background. Trem as well, the lead of the McLarens, and the other Ferrari bringing up the back of this train. But PT's dropped off the back of Vexman now, so Mike Taylor's just sort of sitting on his own. Vexman's losing time too, Mike. Only on lap 4 now, folks. As the McLaren of Trem goes very wide. Who's that? That's Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond takes off the Rolex board, but really snaky on the exit of a Sky. We told you that's exactly where it can get slippy. If the rear just goes, you get a little bit hazard if you're in the wrong gear as well. But now Grimmo just dropped off the back with all these little battles going on. The gap's just opening up a little bit. Apart from the top two, once again down the start finish straight. Jack slightly ahead into the braking zone. Thomas just about gives him room side by side by side. Look at this as Jack got the move done. But I tell you what, the traction... Oopsie daisy, Jack. You didn't do that, but that's, of course, at least there's no harm, no foul there. But Thomas, the traction he got out of that turn two, absolutely incredible, and keeps ahead of Jack again. The rain seems to be lightening up. No, it doesn't. I thought it was lightening up a little bit there, folks. I thought we might see... Oh, Blood Diamond and Monster side by side at turn 4. Monster, nothing he could do about that one. Blood Diamond looks like he's got the Max Verstappen helmet on, so you're not getting any coverage whatsoever from me ever again. Oh, well, I'll say that. He's hit the back of Trevor, got very sidey out the second last more. There was carbon fibre flying. I don't know if he's going to have any damage. I'm going to have to go on board with him now. But look at that, that's caught him out. And look at Monster having a look into Ascari. Wise choice to back out there. Unless you're alongside, not really a place to do it. But yeah, that V-carb is not looking stable. Neither was the McLaren ahead. Monster out the 3, you'd have to say, has actually got the better traction. It seems to be the more stable car in these conditions. But the rain looks like it's letting up, but it's not quite. There's no damage to that V-carb, so because he's got the Max Verstappen helmet, we'll leave him alone. Going back, take 3. What can Jack do? And Jack now into braking. Pardon me. Has actually got the move done. Petey and Vexman. Wow, that gap closed very, very quickly between the two. So there's two fighting. Jack now takes the lead. Petey just about keeps ahead of Vexman, who's just started to find the grip now, started to find his footing, getting the feel through as well now. We got to lap 6, 21 more laps after this one to go. Few gaps opening up, few little battles. So we've got Vex and Grimmo now just getting dropped a little bit. He's on his own. Where Mike Taylor is, still keeping that gap actually. Now the gap up to 2.7, 2.8. He's just hovered about there the last couple of laps. So Mike's going to enjoy this. Oh, as Petey goes very, very squirrely once again through the first Lismore, and this time Vexman's on the back of him. Is he going to be close enough? Potentially using quite a bit of the battery from Petey to escape down the straight. But down at Monster and Trem still close there. Battle for 7th. Grimmo's now starting to join this battle with Petey getting a little bit sideways, and once again, look at this. Into the parabolic at this time. Thomas gets the move done. Does he get the exit? That's the key, because now Jack's going to be in. There it is, the slipstream, no DRS, but the slipstream for the Aston Martin pulls out using a lot of his overtake button. He's going to have absolutely zero of that left by the time he gets down to the breaker zone. There's the V-carb, there it is. Oh, latest of the breakers. Just Jack, get the car stopped. Oh, hoo, hoo. Just about. I honestly thought that was going to go straight on. Honestly thought that was going straight on. But here's Thomas. Look at him. There he comes. He's going on the outside of Curva Grande. Has he got the grip? Has he got the overspeed? Who's going to let us on the brakes? We saw Jack into turn 1 be more daring, and he does this time. And now Jack keeps the lead. But that's helped Mike Taylor close by about 6/10 from what he was doing. Grimmo now told he was getting involved. Oh, he had a bit of a bumpy excursion there. I think outbroke himself a little bit in his battle with Vexman. Said he was closing up on those guys. But now that's unfortunately caused Vexman to drop off the back of the Ferrari for the time being. Gaps opening up just a little bit, apart from the top 2. Again. But there's 10 drivers. There's not just them. What's the chef doing? He's sort of circulating, struggling a little bit, I think, with grip. I think he's gone for a drier setup. And hoped that it wasn't going to actually rain, but 10 seconds off the back of his teammate at the moment. As his teammate, speaking of his teammate, goes and uses the old banking, pretty much out of Ascari. Chef now gets 3 seconds, the first penalty of this race. Monster's probably one of the closest. I know Thomas and Jack are going to be battling. We see that at the top of the leaderboard, folks. Let's leave them be. Let's let them do what they're going to do. Because Monster's the one just biding his time, and I'm pretty sure that's why I'm on board with Monster. That rain is a little bit lighter than it was But this is where it's all about looking after the tyres, seeing what they can do, keeping with them for as long as possible, especially if you're going to do that the one-stop strategy. You've got to take these to about lap 14, lap 15, ideally. Unless you want to try the undercut, get the fresh inters on, try, especially with the field being this closely bunched together. Some of those gaps for Monster, for example, could potentially take a couple of places. Grimaud as well, and then could really close in on PT if he manages to jump Vexman. It depends on when drivers... Oh, as Blood Diamond got very, very squibbly. Is that going to allow Monster a bit of a chance down into Ascari as he's got the slipstream not quite close enough? And no, Monster will just stay there for now. Grimaud decides he's going to... That looked like it might be a warning. Took a little bit too much of the curve there. One of the main places to do it, Ascari Chicane, is the easy places and the exit of the second Lesmo, turn 7. They're the main places that you can get a track limit warning. But everyone, like I say, sort of are biding the time, just using the slipstreams that are powerful here. You don't necessarily get too much dirt here. Around Ascari and Lesmo, yes, of course, you do. But otherwise, not too bad, I would have to say. But yeah, top two, just sort of, again, that gap hovering around that 2.8 second mark. PT as well, he's pulled away from Vexman after his little scrap with Grimaud, who's still holding on to the back of that Mercedes car. Both Mercedes powered. But yeah, the rain doesn't look like it's sort of getting any lighter at the moment. It does look like it's set in for a while. Usually, if this was a dry conditions, I would say that if you get out of that DRS window for the with the car in front, it could potentially be the nail in the coffin because it is so powerful out here. 2 DRS zones, I should say, usually. But in the wet, it's not always as important. This is now about the traction. This is about the corner grip. PT, wow, great lap time, 29.6. As Vexman's the first to pit. Vexman's the first one to bail on his inters. As that releases Grimaud into clean air. Monster still right on the back of Blood Diamond. The top 2.5 seconds. As I said, that gap hasn't really changed to Mike Taylor behind. Everyone's just sort of settling into their race. Settling into everything. Because now these tyres are starting to get a little bit worn. They're going to start getting a bit slidey, a little bit slippery as well. As Mike has really closed up. I wonder if Jack's just used a little bit too much, because the traction that Thomas has got outside the second Lesmo side by side into Ascari, Jack can't do anything about it whilst he backs off. I wonder if Jack's just used a little bit too much of his tyres in that first stint, because Mike has really pulled in those two with this lap. So we're going to see the power of the Red Bull and Mike. Difficult opening start of the season for him, but could we see a little bit of redemption? I've probably jinxed it, so I hope not, Mike, because it'd be good to see you, even though you're in a Red Bull, and I'm not a fan of a Red Bull. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I'm impartial on the game, granted, but reality, no, not a fan. But we hope you can do well, my friend. Hope you can come through and you're having a good race so far. And another change for the lead, the slipstream and the overspeed for the Aston Martin retakes the lead. Yeah, Mike, just maybe a bit of a slippery last sector there. Gap's gone back to 2.5 seconds. Grimaud not really made any headway on. PT now is in free air. Vexman absolutely charging through though as well. Has he put the inters on? He has, of course he has. So, he's on a charge. Trem's had a big moment somewhere, not sure where. It might be through turn 1 and turn 2. He's dropped right off the back of Monster, whereas he's still keeping Blood Diamond honest. Oh, Mike! First one with 3 seconds, and it was the second of the Lesmores. Went that little bit wide. So the second man this evening to get a 3-second penalty in his pursuit of the top two. And it seems to be here, it seems to be in this last sector where Mike seems to struggle the most. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the confidence through Ascari, and there is a lot of time to be gained through there. If you can keep your average speed up and you have that right change of direction on your car, if it's dialed in nicely, well, that understeered like crazy through Parabolica. So he's starting to struggle a little bit with the fronts at this moment in time. But the best thing for Mike is there he is on board. Here they are at the top two. He can see them keep swapping positions. He's going to want those two to keep on battling, keep on fighting. Shepard's got another 3-second penalty. And this is just now what Mike needs to do, just so you can see them. There they are. Liquid Gas got a very difficult exit there from turn 2. That's the biggest this gap has been probably since lap 2, I would have to say. 0.8 of a second, still nothing, but is closing out. Vexman now on his fresh tyres. He is now setting the benchmark pace, and he is closing in by a good second on Trem. Monsters close back onto the rear of Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond's just dropped off the back of Grimo, so these drivers now in clean air do seem to be struggling a little bit more than they did when they were tucked up behind the drivers when they were battling. So, interesting one now. Just to see. Ooh, as BT goes very sideways into Ascari. We've seen a lot of that so far, and I'm sure we're going to see many more of that. Chef's the second one to pit. Everything's still quite calm at this moment in time. Just starting to see who can eke the tyres out that little bit longer. Who can push on. Who decides to try the undercut. What's Monster going to do? This is the closest he's been. He's now alongside Blood Diamond. He's got the overspeed, and now he's gone through. He's going to get his braking point right. Can he get the car stopped in time? Just about. Oh, Trem's got a 10-second penalty, speed in the pit lane. Very, very short entrance, actually, into this pit lane. Easy to get short-sighted by that one, but Monster got through on Blood Diamond after lap, looking at the rear of that V-carb wing, and can Blood Diamond come back at him? Not quite quick enough. Now then, what can Monster do as he drifts into the second chicane into turn 4 and 5? Now then, 3.2 seconds to Grimo ahead and his good friends. So will he be able to close that down? What's he going to do about Blood Diamond? Is it now that Monster could have looked after his tyres that little bit more? Being behind, running wide is probably not going to help, my friend, so I wouldn't necessarily advise that if I were you. Mike Taylor, after being within 3 seconds for much of this race for the top two, just losing touch now. 4 seconds, that gap. While PT 2.2 further back, can just about see the Oracle rear wing as Trem's got another 3 seconds. Penalties now starting to come thick and fast as drivers are struggling for grip towards the end of their tyre life. Then we're going to pit. Mike Taylor does pit. PT pits as well. What about the Aston Martin? What's Grimo going to do? He continues one more lap. Monsters decide to pit as well. He's got past Blood Diamond now. He's going to try get away. Blood Diamond follows him in. Vexman, we know, has pitted. He's coming at the Parabolica. Now, this is going to be very interesting. Where can Vexman come out? He's had some really good lap times so far. We've got Mike Taylor and PT moving. You can see on the map on the right-hand side. Are they going to be out ahead of Vexman? I think they're just about. There's Vexman in the background. They are ahead. Monster isn't, unfortunately. Neither is Blood Diamond. But they're going to have 2 lap fresher tyres towards the end of this race, should they decide to keep them. We are halfway through now. What's happened at the front? We're looking at the pit stops. 4 seconds now they got. What happened to Jack? What did he do? That gap's really, really opened up massively. Wow, so Jack's tyres going off now. Was there just a lack of concentration? Bit too ego on the throttle? Well, that's a very, very good question. Grimo Now, 6.5 seconds behind his teammate. There they are in the same shot. Mike with his pit has had his pit stop already. What's our leader going to do? He continues. What about Jack? This is now the pit stop phase. Jack continues. What about Grimo? He's sliding around the parabolic, and Grimo's continuing as well. This is an interesting ploy of tactics here, because let's look at that gap. Mike Taylor's the first one to pit, don't forget. Or the leaders of the people who have pitted. Gap at 14 seconds to Grimo. We'll keep our eye on that one, folks, because that is going to be key. Once that starts really starting to come down, that's when, you know, those intermediate tyres are really coming in, and you know that the top three's tyres are a little bit more, well, past the best, shall we say, past their sell-by dates. Grimo just dropping off the back. Liquigas trying to come back. The gap was over 4 seconds, so now he's just using the rest of that pace and that demand, trying to close a little bit more of that gap to the leader. PT's closed now. He seemed to have got the tyres working a little bit better this stint than his previous set. He's close to the back of my tailor. Mike Monster under a lot of pressure once again from Blood Diamond. The roles have reversed for the Ferrari and the V-Carb. But 12 more laps remaining after this one. Nice calm affair, you would have to say, so far. Unlike the first two rounds that we had. Ooh, Beatty got a little bit wide. It might have been alright. Now then, the lead Aston Martin does pit. Jack pits. What's Grimo going to do? They're going to double stack the Astons. He's got about an 8-second gap. So, Grimo was too quick. Couldn't get the car stopped. 10 seconds. Oh, that could have been a monumental double podium. But that gap with Mike had closed rapidly. Oh, a little bit held, but not too bad for him. Petey sets the fastest lap of the race. There he is, under the back of Mike Taylor. But then, where is everyone going? This is it. Where can 23.5 seconds? We've got Liquid Gas. He's got 3.5 seconds now. Grimo's in the pits. He's going to come out with Monster, I do believe. Look at that. That's going to be so close. Blood Diamond's on the inside of Monster as well into turn one. Blood Diamond gets in. Grimo can't get the car stopped. He's had to bounce around, and the V-Cars had to go on the outside. What about the Ferrari as well? The Ferrari gets through. Wow. Grimo on the fresh tyres just out. Couldn't get the car stopped. Missed his braking point in the wet conditions. Not enough heat into those inters. And that 10-second penalty. Well, it's really going to hurt him so much. But Trem, of course, has still got that penalty as well. So Grimo, as it stands, will stay in 8th. But what can Monster do about Blood Diamond? Needs to focus on that one. Now, what can Liquid Gas do about PT, who's on the back of Mike Taylor? So, look at this. Our leader now has decided he's taking them a little bit longer. He's going to have 10 laps on his remaining set. Chef has got a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. I think he might have gone straight on to the second chicane. Not a good night this evening for the McLaren boys. But Mike Taylor now, he pitted early. Let's go to those tyres. Let's have a look. 3 laps ago, Mike was about 4 seconds off the lead. Not anymore, folks. PT as well. May have those extra laps on the tyres, but they will go to the end. Yes, Thomas. Yes, Liquid Gas will be quick. They will have fresher tyres. But in these conditions, anything can happen. It's going to be down to the outright pace. Now, Mike finds himself, yes, with a 3-second penalty, but in the lead of this round 3 of MRS in these really difficult conditions. Well, look at this now. Thomas now is going to be on a charge. He gets the heat and the feeling into those fresh tyres. Liquid Gas back to about a second behind where he was for much of this race. He's going to know where the tyres grip is. Look at this. This is PT. He's got the drive out of Ascaria, makes the move into into the Parabolica, sorry. Completely get the corners mixed up there. Grimo's made his move past Monster as well on the fresher rubbers. Now he knows where the grip is. But now, this is it. Liquid Gas is now set the fastest lap of the race. That's an interesting time for that one. Mike Taylor coming back at the Ferrari. These guys are probably the two most powerful cars on F1 24 because we have not got equal performance. I think there was a little bit of a touch. I think Petey touched the back of the Red Bull. There was a little bit of carbon fibre flying, and Petey makes his move done. What's Thomas going to do? Thomas is sidling his way through on the inside of the of turn 3. And what's he going to do about Petey up ahead? Is he going to try and have a look into the chicane? He got a little bit of a tap on the Ferrari as well for good measure. Oh, that was crucial for Thomas. Really, really made the most of that one. He really pushed through there, and he managed to get through on Mike, who just got out of shape a little bit through turn 1 and 2. Petey got the drive, and then it was all she wrote as Thomas, ever the opportunist, tried to make his moves. He's going to try and have a look into a scary chicane. I think he's trying to have a look. Oh, that was just could have ended in tears for Petey and Thomas there if there was more contact. This is hurting, but what Liquid Gas needs to do if he's got a chance of the win is to see his way through that Red Bull onto the back of the V car. But I tell you what, he's got better drive through the parabolic of Mike Taylor went a little bit drifting, pushed him a little bit wide. This is where the slipstream is going to pay in, and I think the Red Bull, look at the difference in the straight line speed. Wow. Nothing Jackie Vexman's actually had another pit stop. He's had 8 laps on those tyres. Chuck's trying to get the car stopped. Blominick, that's tight. There's 2 abreast each way through. Chuck's got his way through. Mike lost out hugely through that one. Peasy just about kept ahead of Thomas, and now Liquid Gas is going to be pushing through, but Thomas is now trying the outside line through turn 3. Can't quite, doesn't have that outright pace that the Ferrari does. Oh, slightly hampered there is. Oh, Chef's retired from the session. He's gone through the power car. We've got a safety car. Lap 19 and we've got a safety car. Vexman's probably going to be the most hurt because he just pitted. This is going to be interesting. What are these guys going to do? Have they got a fresh set of tyres? Are they going to take the risk? That's going to be key. We'll wait and see now. Everyone's slowing down to pace. Those were penalties. Let's have a quick look. Grimo and Trem are the ones that have got the 10-second penalties. Can you easily use those now in the pits? Get rid of them. Going back to 0. And of course back to status quo. If worst case scenario, he could be behind Trem. But we'll see if anybody decides to pit. If Grimo does, get rid of that penalty. Let's have a look. What is Petey going to do? Is he going to stay out? No, yes, he is. Everyone, a little bit of fakes. Mike's the one that's pitted. Interesting. I wonder if Mike got dummy. There's a few little mind games going on there, wasn't there? Blood Diamond does pit. Grimo's pitted. He's going to get rid of that penalty. Monster's pitted as well. Almost a free pit stop. Not quite. With Trem and Vexman's going to be interesting to see if these two decide to pit as well. Vexman's the one who has just hit the pits. Yep, Trem's going to go and pit while Vexman continues on his way. He will get past. I think that's going to be Blood Diamond he gets past. He does get past Blood Diamond. So Vexman back up into 5th. And now the leader behind the safety car, whilst everyone else has a little pit stop. Oh, Gregory lost the car. You must be the chef. He clipped the curb too hard on Ascari and lost the car. Easy done, especially in these conditions. Very, very easily done. Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's even in the dry, Ascari can't always be the most fun. In the dry conditions, you've sort of got to time it just right, especially that entry phase. Well, it's both left-handers. They've got those little sausage curves on the inside of the curb, and you can get away a little bit in the first part if you're lucky and bounce over that and sort of skirt it a little bit. But the last part is just crucial. There we are, as we see the sausage curves on the left-hand side of your screen as we go through the right there, and there's the left as well. That one really, really difficult. But I imagine we'll have one more lap behind the safety car. So Grimmo's had his pit stop, of course. He's taken that 10 seconds away for that he was potentially going to struggle with towards the end of the race. So has Trem. So 3 seconds for Mike, 3 seconds for Trem. Let's have a look back at those tyres. Mike Taylor. Right, I wish I picked this up earlier, folks. He's thinking now, well, I mean, look at this. We're on board with the leader. It's not quite a dry line. But it's not... No, it's not quite a dry line. This is a risk. And I'm intrigued now. This is going to be amazing to see if this plays off for Mike. Because if it does, those mediums could be mighty. We won't know until the safety car restarts as soon as Trem catches the back of the field, which he's going to do very, very shortly. Safety car could potentially come in this lap. Mike, yeah, struggling overall for grip there. Yeah, the car not quite turning. But it looks okay down the straights there. So, are we going to get a late safety car call? I think we might. It's going to be very, very late. If it does decide it's going to go in. Well, second place man at the minute. It does decide round the exit of the Parabolica. So now Petey is the man who is going to take us away. The safety car dashes off there into the pit lane. When does Petey go? When does the pack decide they're going to head off? Petey just backing him up, backing him up, backing him up as much as he can, and now he drops the hammer. Catches Thomas lapping just a little bit, but good traction as well on the restart from Petey. No sort of wheel spin there at all. Mike Taylor, he's the man you're going to keep an eye on. He's on the medium tyres. Grimmo Monster, they've swapped positions as well further back. What is Mike going to do? Under braking, how's the traction going to look? What about the turning? The traction wasn't great. Lost a lot of time there on the exit, but I tell you what, Thomas is already looking to take back the lead from the Ferrari. Is the Ferrari going to be quite enough alongside Petey? He's got the inside line. He gets it done, does Thomas. Petey couldn't hold on. The 3-lap difference in tyres now, after those laps on the safety car, going to be sort of dismissed, you'd have to say. I think that it sort of doesn't really matter now. We've got 5 more laps after this one, but Petey can't get the heat in those tyres at the minute. Thomas streaking away where Mike is really, really struggling. He tried to gamble, tried to make it work on those mediums, not really working. He has got the gaggle of cars behind him at the minute, but still, as ever, Scoury, not really the place to go. To be fair, he got the car turned just about, did Mike? What about the traction through the exit? Not really. The rear is not there. Oh, he could have crossed a little bit more there. That's really, really hampered Vexman, and that's allowed Grimmo, and wow, blood diamond, Grimmo got the best one. He's overtaken both of them. Is he going to try the inside of a Scoury? Oh, he thought about it, couldn't quite, but I tell you what, there's, wow, there's cars all over the place. Mike has tried those mediums. It didn't work. He's had to pit. It was worth a go. Oh, 10 seconds, Mike. Oh, mate. I feel for him, I really do. But look, let's go back to this battle. Monster, Vexman, they were battling. Vexman got very much out of shape around the Parabolica as well. And now it's allowed Monster to come through. He's going to chase after the Aston Martin of Grimmo. But I tell you what, this Mercedes is not giving up at Vexman. The side-by-side road curb at Grande. Who's going to have the outright pace? There's the Mercedes, just about his rear axle. Backs out of it wisely. Wasn't quite enough alongside, as there is a yellow flag. And second one, that was just... oh, Mike's DNF'd. Oh, Mike DNF'd. That's interesting. I mean, there was 2 points on offer. I'm surprised about that. Not sure why. I don't know if she was look at that, but they may do afterwards. I know in the league I run, we do look at DNFs in the pits, and if people just DNF for the sake of it. Oh, Petey on the exit of a Scary, really, really sideways. What's that going to allow Liquid Gas to do? But not quite. That Ferrari really, really strong in a straight line. Not so great on throttle application, as we can see. Look at that, every time he presses the throttle down, sideways does the Ferrari slide. But still, the outright pace, just the Aston Martin cannot contain and cannot cope with it. But he's going to have a look into turn 1 last of the lap, because we know Jack is one of those. Oh, there was a bit of carbon fibre flicking off. Oh, Jack on the throttle as well. That's allowed Petey back through. All the while, this is just helping Thomas, and the other V-carb is closing in as well. Monster's had a good run as well. What happened to Grimmer? What happened to Grimmer? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Exit. Oh, exit of turn 2. Oh, Grimmer. Keep going. You can still get points. 3 more laps after this one. That's all you got to do. And there's still 4 points coming your way for the Aston Martin boys. But I tell you what, Jack. That's Jack. Jack's in a wall. That's in Lesmo. And Monsters somehow, I'm not really sure how that worked out, but okay, well, I'm sure we'll see something there. Jack's moving. Oh, Jack's not with the. Okay, let's move on. My league has different views on some of these, so we'll just move on. Not sure what happened to the Aston Martin boys. Within the space of 3 corners, the Aston Martin boys looking from a potential podium and some very, very strong points as well, to 7th and 8th. Monsters somehow got 10 seconds. I have absolutely zero idea how. I'm sure that'll come a bit to the stewards later on, but we've got a virtual safety car at this moment in time, and the closer we've got Vexman, who's managed to get past Monster in all of that. I don't think Monster got any damage. He doesn't, so he's okay to continue, which has really confused me even more as to how he got 10 seconds, but it's Codemasters. As we're going back green, did Monster get a bit of a run? He did! What a run Monster got on Vexman, who's been very, very coy and very cautious with his Delta. Monster really using that to his advantage. Now then, 2 more racing laps after this one. We've got Trem on the comeback trail as well. He's right behind these two. And his battle resumed. But Thomas has now got a 2.5 second lead from PT, who's got 2.6 to Blood Down with a 4-second gap to these two who are fighting tooth and nail once again. Monster just about gets the car stopped in time, a little bit deep into the first part of the left-hander. But now we're going to a little bit wide to Lesbos. Whoa, Vexman as well. The side by side of the second Lesbos. Monster has to concede that place. Good move from Vexman, must be said. Really opportunistic. Got the drive through. Could see the Ferrari struggling on the entry to the first Lesmo. Oh, and that's the... Ooh, that's gone all over the place. He's just crashing on purpose. Not really sure what we just saw there with the McLaren. Left, right, hit every single wall down that straight. That's a strange one, but continues. He has got wing damage. But there are the 2 Aston Martins in the background. Well, that's a lot of wing damage. We'll skip away from that one. Not really sure what was going on there. Vexman now has got past, as we said, Monster early on. And I think, yeah, Trem's going to hit the pits. He does. Hopefully he doesn't retire. And retire in the pits. I'm not normally very controversial. Well, I am controversial. But, morally, don't do it. You're going to get points. I said this at the start of a previous stream that no one was listening to. For some unknown reason, thank you, YouTube. That, 10 places, 10 drivers. All you got to do is finish the race. It doesn't matter if you're a lap down. Mike, to be fair, Chef, unfortunately, had a moment through Ascari. But Mike, Trem, Trem's continuing. Great to see. That's what you need to do. You need to continue. You're going to get points. It's all going to add up at the end of the season. And, that's what we need to see. Grimoire hasn't given in. Liquid Gas hasn't given in. And look at these boys. That gap has really, really increased. Now, Thomas on his way to another win. You'd have to say, and it could be a double podium for the V-Carbs. And I tell you one thing. As it stands, I'd have to say my driver of the day so far is Blood Diamond. He had a bit of bad luck early on. Was caught up in a lot of battles as well. And has just fought his way through and just kept it clean when needs be. Showed the pace that he's needed. And Thomas now 6. Okay, just do 2 laps from the end, as you do. He wasn't happy enough with just the win. Starting on 4th, he's now decided, okay, I want the extra point. Why not? Liquid Gas has come through on Monster. Where is Monster? I think he may have had a moment into Parabolica, where he's allowed Jack to go through. Extra points for the Aston Martin boy. Try to minimise any kind of damage that he's going to sustain with Thomas taking the win. Blood Diamond is the man on a charge. These V-Carbs are sort of working really, really well at this moment in time with their tyres and the lower fuel levels that they're going to have now, because He's really close on the back of Petey, who seems to be struggling once again as those tyres get warm. We saw it in the first stint. Ferrari not kind on his tyres at all, but now there's blood diamond. Oh, wow. Love it. Love it to see it. What good drifting that was. So I think that kind of nullifies that attack, where it's still going to be a double podium for the V cars, because here he is, the man who took the lead off the start. What a start he had from fourth on the grid. Made the move into turn one, battled most of the race long with liquid gas, but kept his cool and is now coming through to take the win in very, very damp conditions. Here's Thomas. PT holds off the charging V-Carb to finish second. A great race from him. Blood Diamond for the double podium for the V-Carbs. And it's Vexman is going to come across the line in fourth. Is Monster and Grimmer having a little bit of a tangle? I think they're sort of were. I think they're just Monster's doing the general thing. I don't know if there's a little bit of a tussle somewhere and Monster's let him go, but it's fifth and sixth in the end for the Aston Martin boys. Monster in seventh, and then Trem coming into Ascari will finish in eighth, and then Mike Taylor and the chef unfortunately DNF'd from this race. 8 finishes, but good action, a little bit calm. Everyone was a little bit sort of just in these tricky conditions trying to make the tyres last, as we can see there from Trem that he's struggling. Oh, Lumberneck, he's just okay, there you go. Decides he's going to do that in the pits. Anyway, moving on, he will cross the line, and there we are, folks. Interesting race, I would have to say. Difficult one for myself to talk through when it was quite calm, good little bits of action and a few little bits of controversy. I think as the game gives a drive of the day to Vexman. Personally, I'm going to go, I think, as I mentioned early on, with Blood Diamond. I think he struggled a little bit early on and came through, and a deserved podium, I would have to say, for him. A little bit fortuitous from the incident that happened with Jack. I'm sure Monster's 10-second penalty for a random severe collision that caused 0 damage whatsoever will mean that will be in the stewards, I'm sure, later on. But there we are, folks. Round 3 in the very damp and rainy conditions at the Temple of Speed. And there's your preliminary results for you this evening. Thomas on the top step once again with PT in second, Blood Diamond in third, then Vexman in fourth. The game's drive of the day was Vexman and Liquid Gas challenging for the win. Just didn't seem to go his way for whatever reason. He finishes fifth ahead of his teammate in sixth. Again, a bit unlucky for him, the battles that he had throughout with Grimo. Monster as well in seventh, then Trem in eighth. Mike Taylor, unfortunately, DNF'd in ninth, and the Chef Man in 10th. There we go, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Difficult one, as I say. It was a bit of a slow burner, but we got there in the end, didn't we? Join us next week for round 4. We'll be on at the same time, and I will be your host once again. Hopefully won't have the same glitches we had, but it is YouTube. It is Formula 1, F1 24. Who knows? Thank you all for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you in a week's time.